Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. Let's cue the cheesy music. There we go. Hopefully you got some music in the background there. It's pretty low. But anyway, welcome to the show. This is episode 221. I should have looked at the screen. What am I doing? So big shout out goes today to Katarina, who is a new YouTube member on the Tasty tier. So yes, there are various tiers, 6 different tiers on YouTube memberships, and I think about the same amount of tiers on Patreon. So thank you everybody who financially supports the show. So I'll just kill a little ticker. You can ask your questions, but good morning everybody. So don't forget, straight after the show today, I know the show hasn't really started, but straight after the show today, we will have the premiere of the Erstkaka, which is the Swedish cheesecake. So that'll be at 9 o'clock or in the next hour. So as soon as this show finishes, if you're watching on YouTube, automatically you will be redirected. Redirected to the Erstkaka video. And if you want to, you can watch it. If you don't, go and have your breakfast or your dinner or whatever you want to do. But yeah, the choice is yours. So that's all good fun. I'm Gavin Weber, and I'm the host of the show today. We are live on YouTube as the main channel, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch for those who are watching. Okay, let's say good day to some people. Okay, so here we go. First cab off the rank today on YouTube, which is the only one you can chat on early, is Bill. Hello, Bill. Lovely to see you. I've already said g'day. Who else? Who was the second cab off the rank? Let's have a look. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. And Jim. G'day, Jim. And Paul. Hello, Paul. Ruth. Hello, Ruth. And happy birthday to you, Ruth, over there in San Francisco. Hope you're going to have a fantastic day. Cheesy, that is. Who else? Let's have a look. We've got Michael. Hello, Michael. How are you? Bill. I don't know if I said Bill. I think I said Bill already. There was a big conversation going on before the show started. Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Chris. And then where else? Give us a look. Chris. And then we've got Just One Asbestos. It's not easy being cheesy, indeed. Annette. Hello, Annette. And we've got the Chairman 777. Good morning from Twitch. Lovely to see you. Crispy McChicken. Hello. How are you? Who else we got? Goodness me, there's people from everywhere. Jackie, hello, Jackie from New Zealand. Titus, of course. Molly Blake, hello, Molly. Who else we got there? Andrew, hello, Andrew. Julianne, oh, lovely to see you. Herb, hello, Herb, and thank you for the photos. And thank you to Michael for the photos. And to Donna, I don't know if Donna's here, but we'll see. Mochi Bun, hello, how are you? Who else we got? Dare Challenger God, I am the big cheese. Indeed. Scott, hello, Scott, over on Facebook. Shauna, hello, Shauna. Jim, lovely to see you, Jim. And we got Lewis Jive over on Twitch. Hello, Lewis. And Glenn, hello, Glenn. That's everybody. That's fantastic. Now, as I mentioned, premiere video of Erstkaka at 9 o'clock. And sometime this week, I'll be releasing the Gaviera taste test, or Graviera, sorry. Play on words. The Graviera taste test. And I will be frying up some Saganaki which is something you make with Graviera, and I'll pop that on the end of the video. The cheese does taste amazing, but if I coat it with a little bit of flour, fry it in olive oil, squeeze some lemon juice over the top, apparently it's supposed to be absolutely sensational. So I'm going to give that a go. Now, we do have a gallery at 8:30 or 30 minutes past the hour. Plus, we will be having a small joke session. Oh, I'm feeling funny today. And I've got a whole bunch of jokes. What have we got? 100 different cheesy jokes, but I'm not going to do them all, obviously. I'm going to shuffle the deck, pull a few out, and we're going to have some jokes. So we're going to do that. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to do something different, which is I'm going to create the thumbnail for next week's show live based on the pictures that were sent in from the gallery. So I will create that before the end of the show, and then we'll move over to the premiere at the end of the show. So fantastic. Alrighty. So let's get into some questions. It is Ask the Cheeseman after all. First question. Now, Ruth says, thanks for immortalising the fog cheese, Patricia. The Cowgirls closed their last store. I don't know if you mean the Cowgirl Creamery, I think, Ruth, over in San Francisco. Were they the ones that made Humboldt Fog? I'm not sure. I thought it was... I can't remember now. No, I'm not sure. But yeah, I know the Cowgirl Creamery had some amazing cheeses. Hopefully they didn't close forever. All right, next question. This one's from Andrew O. Hey there, first time here, but definitely have binged a handful of videos in a single day. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Enjoy the cheese. There's one thing watching it, though, another thing making it. You've got to give it a go. Even the simplest of cheeses is a great place to start your cheese-making journey. Question from Andrew again. Have you ever made focaccia al formaggio? Any luck with formaggio? Formaggio just means cheese in Italian. So, yeah, I made lots of Italian cheeses. I think there's one specifically called that, but anyway, we'll get along and put it on my list and have a look. Now we got by the looks of it, a super chat. There we go. There's the Curd Nerd light. That's what happens. Let me just kill the light. Oh, what am I doing? Take charge, Gav. All righty. That is from Comrade Catastrophe. Now, you can only do super chats on if you're watching via YouTube. And thank you, Comrade. Comrade says, this channel is a massive wealth of information and all for free. Thank you for everything you do here. It's very helpful to new cheesemakers. Thank you, Comrade. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for the $5 US. Really appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so back to the questions. I know we had another one there somewhere. Mochi Bun says, hi, new cheesemaker. In the oldest Camembert video, it was implied Camembert was possible to ripen at 4 degrees Celsius. It says, however, you said you missed steps. The Little Bear is 4 degrees ripening still possible. Yeah, in that original Camembert video, it wasn't very good. It was one of the first ones I ever made, actually. So I did that follow-up with the Little Bears. And yeah, you can't... Yeah, what I do is I ripen the cheese at 10 degrees Celsius for the first 14 days, roughly, until it gets a white mold coating. It's very hard to get that white mold coating in the kitchen fridge at 4 degrees Celsius. However, then once they're wrapped, then I put them in the kitchen fridge, and that slows down the ripening process for about another 2 weeks, so 14 more days, sometimes 21. Depends on how runny you want it in the middle. So it definitely needs that, that early little bit of heat between 7 and 10 degrees. So if you can find the warmest part of your kitchen fridge, then yeah, maybe you'll be able to ripen them in a ripening box to get that initial white mold coating. So I hope that helps. Okay. Next question is from, let's have a look. This is from Augustin. I think that's how you say it. Hello, Augustin, here from Argentina. We've got some very good cheese down here, and one particular called Toscano Cheese. Very intensive cheese. Have you ever made it? No, I don't have a video on that. Let me just write that down. Toscano. And that's from Argentina. I'll see what I can come up with. Now, any recipe I find will probably be either in Argentina. What do you speak? Is it Spanish there? Portuguese? One of the two. I may have to. I'll have to translate it with Google Translate. If I can get a copy of one, I should be able to. We'll see how we go. But thank you for your suggestion. Jackie, hello, Jackie, says, I have waxed Jarlsberg sitting at 18 degrees, the wax key splitting as the eyes of the cheese grow. Do I fill the holes with wax or just leave the holes open? Okay, so in my experience, I've made Jarlsberg about 4 times now, that when the wax does split, yes, it's no big deal. You'll find that the paste is fairly dry underneath and it won't grow any mold. If you start seeing any mold, then maybe rip all the wax off. But if you get a lot of eye activity and it blows up like a balloon, then maybe it's time to put it back into the cheese fridge at the lower temperature to kind of reduce some of that eye formation. But yeah, you can wax over the holes if they're clean. That's no hassle. It's no big deal. But if it starts growing mold, then maybe rip all the wax off, give it a quick wash with a simple brine solution, pat it dry with some paper towel, and then wax it again. Okay. Ruth says, jokes. Yay, what a great idea. Indeed. I hope that's cool. G'day to Tracy. Hello, Tracy. How are you over at Cheese Needs? Annette has a question, says, what is your opinion on scraping the blue off a creamy blue? I was told I was butchering my cheese by a member of a group where I post my pics. The cheese is delicious, by the way. You do you, Annette. You don't need to scrape the blue off if you don't want to. If you do scrape the blue off, no problem whatsoever. Notice that not many cheeses are commercially sold with the blue mold on the outside of the cheese, is it? So it's visually unappealing, I suppose, to the average cheese consumer if their blue cheese has the blue mold on the outside. I prefer to scrape it off personally. That's just my personal preference because I know that Kim won't eat it if it has all that blue mold on the outside. So don't worry about what the haters say. Just enjoy your cheese how you want to enjoy it, Annette. Yeah. No opinions. Do you? I certainly don't have any anyway. What do you call a giant a monster made of cheese, Sir Gavin? All right, is the answer there somewhere? No. I don't know. Munster? There we go. Anyway, Ruth has some more information. It says, yes, Cowgirl Creamery is where the Humboldt fog comes from. The girl sold the creamery a while ago, but stay involved. They have closed their last retail store. That is sorry to hear, mate. Shauna asks, how is the Red Windsor going? Its due date was the 3rd of August. Indeed, it looks pretty good. It's being recorded today. I'm doing a taste test video. So that'll be released in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, looks like it's all stayed together, so that's a big bonus. And it doesn't look like there's any whey in the bottom of the bag. So yeah, hopefully all good. Shauna, thank you for asking. But yeah, that's scheduled for today. Not to record today, not to release, of course. Fun Pants says, "Hey, Papa Gav." Yeah, I'm old. I am a grandfather. Suppose you can call me Papa. I'm putting my ghost pepper Asiago into brine. Should have pictures in the gallery in the near future. My God, but that's going to be hot. I tell you, that'll burn your mouth. But yeah, interesting. And Asiago, if I remember rightly, my one was. I think it was very young and it needed a bit of something. Mine had peppercorns in it, but yeah, putting ghost pepper into it, whew, it's going to be pretty spicy there. Okay, Mochaban has a question. Says, if I have 13C nights forecast, should I leave my cheese out overnight and keep in the fridge during the day? Mainly asking for camembert. You could. That's no hassle. As long as you keep the humidity up in the ripening box, there shouldn't be any issues with that. You know, remembering that cheesemakers throughout the world for the eons haven't had temperature controlled spaces. They've just done the best with what they've got. You know, root cellars, caves, you name it. The ingenuity was amazing when making cheese. And in colder climates, yeah, people just would leave it out and let it grow whatever it grew on the outside of it. So, anyway, Tracy says, I tried the feta and pickling spice in oil. It's so good. Thanks for the tip. No problems at all. That's the Persian feta that I made. So yeah, it's a good one, Tracy. That's for sure. Fun Pants says, I'm trying to avoid collecting too many cultures for cheese. If you would recommend only 1 to 2 meso and 1 to 2 thermo cultures, what will they be? Bonus points if they are readily available in the US. Okay. All right. So one of my favourite mesos for cheddar styles is MA 4001 or the MA 4000 series by Discolor. That's a great meso for making a really cheddary sort of flavour in a short amount of ripening time. So, so cheeses like Farmhouse Cheddar, perfect for that. Caerphilly, yeah, I used that for Caerphilly as well, and that was amazing. Another meso, MA11 comes to mind as a very simple meso, and as far as Thermophilics go, Thermo B and Thermo A are the two main ones. I use MOT92 because it has quite a large range, and it also has LH or Lactobacillus lactis helvetica, which tends to create a better flavors within the cheese. So if you're going to get some thermos, make sure at least one of them's got LH in it. So there you go. There's some tips. Question from Paul. Thank you, Paul. Says, do you know if there are any mold companies that make cheeseclothless molds other than the round Lauder molds? I asked Lauder and they had. Right, there we go. We should be back. It says. Yes, I know. There we go. All right, so we're back. Sorry, Paul. Anyway, I don't know why it does that. And I did change some equipment here to see if I could improve that issue, but I don't know. It says that I've got a 10 out of 10 network connection, so I don't know what's doing that. Anyway, back to Paul. Not sure. Lauder's the only ones I've seen that are cheeseclothless. But yeah, it all also depends on the style of cheese. But no, I haven't seen Lauder or any other company make molds like Lauder do. Paul has another question, and this one is, my Castle Blue is at 6 weeks. The mold outside is green-blue, but a little brownish as well. Is it okay? Should I scrape it off? Yeah, look, it depends on you. That brownish stuff is just the blue mold starting to die off. and it does that as it ages. But yeah, you can scrape it off if you want. It's no big deal. Like I said with Annette, I think it was, do what you need to do, because the flavour is inside the blue cheese. It's not on the rind. It's not. You don't need to eat the rind of the blue. Okay. Molly's got a question, and Molly says, when storing feta in olive oil, do you store it in the fridge or at room temperature? Okay, so it should always be stored at in the fridge. I found that I did store one in the cupboard once, the very first one I made, and the feta went ripe very quickly because it will continue to ripen, right? And it tasted like, dare I say, baby vomit. If anybody's had a baby vomit in your mouth, you would know these things. I know it's a bit disgusting, but yeah, you don't. Always, and there's a chance of getting botulism from the olive oil at room temperature. So always store it in the fridge. And when you do store your feta in oil, don't forget to do like 50% olive oil and 50% sunflower oil or canola oil. I tend to use sunflower oil because then it won't solidify. When you put it in the fridge, olive oil solidifies. Or goes cloudy and gluggy, and it's not very appealing when you serve up your cheese. You need to let the olive oil come to room temperature before you serve it, obviously, and then it doesn't look so gluggy. But that's what they do. They put a little bit of sunflower oil, so a little 50% sunflower oil, 50% olive oil. Anyway, great question, Molly. Thank you. Cheryl said, my regular feta fell apart in the brine in the fridge. It was 2 weeks old. What did I do wrong besides not eat it fast enough? I found I prefer the Persian feta. Okay. Fell apart, as in went slimy? If it was too slimy, there's two things going on there. So either the pH was too high. It should be roughly the same as what the cheese is, the pH of the brine. And you can fix that up by putting a little bit more vinegar in and test it with a pH strip or a pH meter. You can also make sure that you've got enough calcium chloride in the brine, or you just use whey from the feta, and that may have the right pH and the right amount of calcium in it. A little bit of vinegar always helps, balancing that pH so the cheese doesn't exchange calcium ions with the brine, and that's what makes it go slimy on the outside and go all yucky. Anyway, okay. Celeste has a question. Thank you, Celeste. Hi, Gavin. Do you think the pink Himalayan salt with no anti-caking agent or iodine will discolor my cheese if used as a brine or direct salting? Used it as a brine? No, I don't think it will. Direct salting, yeah, maybe. You may get a little pink tinge to your cheese, but it won't be any issues. I've got some pink Himalayan salt myself. Kim bought some fine by mistake instead of some rock salt, and I'll be using that in some of my cheeses coming up just to see if there's a difference. So yeah, great question. Just a one asbestos says, there's a local cheddar that I buy that almost tastes blue. It's great. You should try making my farmhouse cheddar blue. Very nice. That actually does have some Penicillium roquefort 40 in it, and it tastes amazing. So, Titus is on the jokes already. Says, what did the cheese say to his boss when he quit? I'm leaving this place. I'm feta up. Yep. Okay. I think that's on one of the cards. So you're preempting it. Anyway, Ruth says, we opened my Asiago last night, 6 months old. It is wonderful. I'm working on a natural rind ripening, just aging it in the box, ripening box. Yummy. That's perfect, Ruth. Well done. Yeah, getting the natural rind does help with the texture of the cheese as well, because remembering you're allowing the cheese to dry out more rather than waxing or vacuum packing where it locks the moisture into the cheese that's already there. and sometimes there's a tendency for a little bit of weeping under the backpack or the wax, more under backpack than wax. Naturally, if you can work on a natural rind, then yeah, you're doing a great job. Because if I remember rightly, in the interview that we had, you had three ripening fridges or something like that, maybe more, and that you every day you go and check all your cheeses and give them a wipe if you need to or what have you. But yeah, that's perfect. Celeste says, I want to make your farmhouse cheddar blue. At what stage can I wax it? I assume it will need some time after the piercing stage. Yeah, good question, Celeste. Now, I found because that cheese was really dry, I didn't need to wax it. I kept it in the ripening box the whole time. It only grew blue mold on the top and bottom. When I pierced it, thankfully, it had enough fissures inside the cheese that the Penicillium Roquefort 40 grew inside after piercing. So if you find, hopefully because the cheese will be dry enough, because it's a cheddar variety, it won't grow too much blue on the outside. So I just brushed it down with a dry cloth because the blue was like powdered mold. So dry powdered mold. I just brushed the cheese, and that's what you saw in the video when I did the taste test. I was just brushing some of the mold off, so it wasn't wet or moist or anything like that. And I let it go down to about 80% humidity, and it seemed to work all right. But at what stage? Look, I would give about 4 weeks for the blue to grow inside before you waxed it if you wanted to. I would just wrap it in silver foil, and that inhibits the blue from growing on the outside. You know, not silver foil, aluminium foil. What am I talking about? Silver's a bit expensive. Yeah, so you could do that. Sunblock off the internet. Is there a way to keep lint off of cheesecloth? I just pressed a cheese and it seems to have a small jumper's worth of lint pressed into it. Yeah, so what I do when I clean my cheesecloths, I put them in the washing machine, make sure the lint filter is clean in the washing machine. We do have one in ours. But I don't wash it with anything else. I also, in the final rinse, so I don't use any powder or detergent in the wash, and I put it on a warm wash, about 30 degrees Celsius. I then I put vinegar in where you put the fabric softener. So I put white vinegar, just normal white vinegar, and that seems to freshen up the cheesecloth, clean it, and there's no lint on the cheesecloths whatsoever. So that's what I do. Others will find that maybe you can wash them by hand. And that tends to work. I was doing that at the start, and I found that there was no lint. I also found that some cheesecloths are really, really fuzzy. So you know the old style cheesecloth that you bought in a big roll, and it was like in a hoop. That cheesecloth is really linty. It's got so many bits come off it. You've really got to wash it a few times before you actually use it. So there's some tips. Hope the loose weave cheesecloths that I use are lint free. That they don't have any lint on them to start with. So anyway, Molly says my olive oil goes hard like butter in the fridge. It's made from our own trees. Thank you for answering. No problems at all. So yeah, 50% sunflower oil, and that'll stop going hard. Cheryl says her feta turned into milk. There you go. Yeah, so it went slimy. So yeah, there's an imbalance of the pH and calcium chloride. So that should fix it up. Alrighty, it's time for the gallery, and then we'll have a quick joke session. So I'll mark where we're up to. So we just did Cheryl's question there on the chat. Let's share the gallery. See if this works and doesn't drop out every 10 seconds. Here we go. Alrighty, there we go. So, first cab off the rank today is Donna. Thank you, Donna, for sending these photos in. This is a photo of her cheese just after the first pressing. This is, let me say, I'll just read the blurb. Hang on. It says, "Hi, Gavin. I hope you are well." Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I have attached a few photos that I hope you can include in your cheese gallery and that you can provide some feedback for any areas of improvement. So photo one is a cheddar with cracked black pepper just after the first pressing. That looks amazing. So yeah, no advice there. And that is it fully pressed. That looks fantastic. So photo two is the cheddar with the cracked black pepper prior to being backpacked. That looks amazing. And it looks dry enough there to, it says just prior to being backpacked. Yeah, I'd backpack it now. It doesn't look like there's much moisture on it. I wouldn't get too much dry or they tend to crack. But yeah, that looks really good. Well done, Donna. Donna's next cheese. This looks amazing. I wish we had a top-down view. But this is a smoked Colby using liquid smoke and rubbed with oil and smoky paprika. I cut this prior to backpacking as it felt a little squishy. I think the holes are mechanical. Yes, they are mechanical. That's okay. You can add a little bit more pressure next time maybe, and that'll get rid of a little bit more moisture. But the cheese looks great. You may have some trouble ripening it, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. Colby's a fairly young cheese anyway, but that looks fantastic. I love it. Alrighty, this one is, the next cheese is still from Donna, and this is her Jarlsberg. I love the eyes, beautiful. Some nice eye formation there. She says it's their favourite so far. And yeah, I must admit, Jarlsberg is one of my favourites as well. It's a lovely cheese. Alrighty, and last but not least, photo number 5 says, "Using my new press my husband made me, based on yours for the first time. Regards, many thanks, Donna." That is amazing looking press. Hopefully the dimensions are right, and that you saw the photo of the pressing, the pressing weights, so you get that right. But yeah, using the little mold that I have, the 165 mold there, perfect for this sort of pressing. So yeah, I'm so glad. If anybody wants a copy of the very rough schematics that I've got for that compound lever cheese press, shoot me an email, which you'll find in the About tab. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But yeah, if you want the schematics that I think it was Greg sent to me, then yeah, that's perfect. All right, so that was Donna. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. The next photo is from Herb, and Herb's a long-time watcher and contributor to the community. Thank you, Herb, for sending your photos in. Says, "Hi, Gavin. Hope you and Kim are well." Yes. Oh, and by the way, just let me interrupt there a little bit. Kim sends her well wishes to everybody. She's looking after the doggos at the moment. They're having a bit of a sleep in. Kim's more of an evening person than a morning person, and I'm more of a morning person rather than an evening person. So yeah, we know our schedules. We've been married long enough, and it all works for us. Anyway, back to the photos. It's back to Herb. It's all about Herb, not me. I've been making cheese for the past few years and watching your YouTube streams and videos. You've taught me a lot for that, and for that, so many thanks. Here are my picks for my cheese making misadventures. So picture number 1, my cheese cave at one point in 2020. It had more later at one point over 12 kilos of cheese. Can we see that? Let's get in bigger. Look at that. You got some amazing cheeses. I like the little photo, and you've got your little thermostat cable going in there as well. But yeah, amazing. Well done, Herb. What else we got? So this is a wheel of drying Asiago made with raw Jersey milk. That looks lovely. I love the colour. Absolutely amazing. And this is the Jersey milk that Herb gets. He gets raw milk. Well, if you're living in Texas, then there's an address there for you. Let me just zoom in on that. There we go. You can get that from there if you're in the Tex. I know Texas is a big place, but yes, I say nothing. I don't know if it's illegal in Texas, but yeah, to get raw milk, but it doesn't look so. So that's cool. The next picture is Herb's press. Can I make that smaller? No, I can't. That's as small as I can get it. Can I just get rid of that? Right, there we go. So this is just normal Dutch press, single lever. This is my homemade Dutch style press. We have a small 2-bedroom apartment, so our unused dining nook is just filled with my cooking stuff. Well done, mate. And I can see a picture of you in the background. There you are. Can't see your face, but I see your face on the thing all the time. But yeah, well done. That's a great press. Whatever works, I reckon. Get that cheese pressed. Well done, Herb. Well done. And it says, anyway, you can use these as you see fit. Looking forward to today's live stream. Thanks a million, Herb. Well done, Herb. Appreciate it, mate. All righty. Thank you for sending it in. And I think, do we have a blurb for this one? Yes. So this one's from Michael, who's watching as well. He's from South Australia. Says, hi, Gavin. Thank you for your lovely message. Okay. Right. So it says my order arrived within 48 hours. So yeah, Michael ordered some stuff from me. I leave a message for most of the Curd Nerds. If I'm the one packing the orders, if Kim's packing, she doesn't write a note. Just I write the notes. So it's luck of the draw. So Jenny and I made Edam this week. Jenny did the waxing. Okay, so this is the Edam that Michael made. And there's the waxing. Very nice. So pressed weight, 1.5 kilos. Packed weight, 1.4 kilos. And that'll be, so that was made in the 3rd. Early this week. Well done. Nice looking Edam. Hope that turns out all right for you. There's another question here. So this is still from Michael. It says, I have just noticed that my first cheddar that I vac packed on the 25th of July has a little bit of moisture in the bag. Just trying to find it. They're a little bit down there in the seams. Look, I think it'll be all right. It's not flooded with moisture. This happens when you vac pack. It's all about atmospheric pressure. Says, can I remove it and let it dry in the cave or just seal it in a vac pack bag? It was made with 10 litres unhomogenised full cream with 4.8% fat. It is also a little soft to touch. Okay, so that tells me that, yeah, it's probably not dry enough. So, yeah, do take it out of the vac pack bag. Let it air dry a little bit longer. No, when you first take it out, just pat it down with some clean paper towel. So let it dry a little bit longer. It may grow some mold on it, but just wipe that off with some simple brine solution. And once it's dry, again, what you can do, there's a couple of ways you can do this. Leave it in a ripening box for a while and just keep an eye on it. However, the problem with that is it'll grow mold on the outside, or just wax or vac pack them again. Waxing won't draw the moisture out like vacuum packing does, so the curds have to be fairly dry once vac packed. So hopefully, Michael, that helps. But thank you for sending in the photo. Now, let me just show you all how we send in photos. Do I have that here somewhere? Let's have a look. Hopefully this all works. Let's just refresh that. Okay, so here we go. Sharing the screen once again. Lots of sharey screens. So pop on over to the Gavin Weber YouTube channel. Here I am, not logged in. Yep, you can see the latest video. This one's live, as you can see. Thanks to all our members and where the latest cheeses are. So don't forget that the Osaka video is coming up soon. All right, but how do we send in emails to Gav? Right, you come over here to the About tab, just here. There we go, About. Now, you can only do this in a browser. I don't think you can do it in the mobile version of YouTube, either whether that's on Android or Apple phones. So go down to here, Details for Business Inquiries, sign in to see the email address. So you'll have to sign in with your Google account. If you're already signed in, you'll probably just have to do a captcha, a little tick in the box type thing. Say you're not a robot, and you'll get the email address. Send it there. So send your photos there. to the gallery. And if you wanted a copy of that that press design, I will send that through as well. If you want it. But yeah, shoot your photos to the gallery there. So that's lovely. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who sent in photos today. Thank you to Donna, Michael, and Herb for their amazing cheese making photos. So moving right along, in 10 minutes we'll do a couple of jokes, but we've got some more questions here, quite a lot of questions here. So here we go. Jackie says, do you reuse your wax from your cheese, and do you reuse your brine multiple times? Great questions. So let me just answer the first one. Do I reuse the wax? Yes, indeed I do. So when I peel the wax off of a cheese, I just use a soft brush, some warm soapy water, and just clean the cheese off to make sure there's no cheesy bits on it. And then I fold it up into, as flat as I can, and put it into my cheese waxing container, which has a little lid and keeps the dust off. And then next time I melt all the wax, that wax will melt with it. So there we go. So I reuse the wax over and over and over again. In fact, I've got the same 1 kilogram of wax that I started with back in 2009. Goes to show how much I reuse my wax. There you go. Along the line, I've added in little bits of wax, red wax that I've got. And I've got another 1 kilo block that I do cut off, 100 grams at a time if I need it. If sometimes I've pulled wax off a cheese and it's just covered in cheese and the cheese stuck to the wax and I just can't get it off to reuse it, and I'll have to throw that away. But 90% of the time I reuse the wax. Thanks for your question, Jackie. Molly says, can you please make a video on troubleshooting mozzarella and reasons it might go wrong? So if you're talking about quick mozzarella, I've done multiple videos on that, Molly. So I don't think I'll be doing any more. Troubleshooting, as far as I can tell, it's all on the pH. So if you don't get the pH low enough between 5.3 and 5, you're never going to be able to stretch the curds. It'll be grainy as anything. So absolutely, you can test the pH of the curds when it first comes out of the pot using either test strips or a pH meter. Make sure it's between 5 and 5.3. If it's too low, then if it's too high, then add a little bit of more citric acid or lemon juice or what have you to bring that acid down. And then when you start microwaving it, it will stretch, no problems whatsoever. If it's normal mozzarella, I did troubleshooting as we went along with that one. Like I said, it's all about the pH. Okay, Mochi Bun says, I seem to recall eating a blueberry camembert brie as a child, but I can't find a recipe or product that would suggest this memory was real. Aside from truffle, is there anything I could consider adding? Those cheeses don't tend to ripen very well when they have additives. The truffles that I added, yeah, that worked all right. Wasn't as creamy as it normally would be. Now, I have seen, there's a guy called the Tennessee Cheesemaker or something that I've seen on the Facebook group Learn to Make Cheese, who actually makes a brie, and then he cuts it in half after it's ripe. And then his wife makes this, or is it the other way around? I'm not sure. Anyway, somebody makes the brie, and then somebody, one of the partnership, adds in usually ricotta with some herbs or garlic and stuff in the middle, and then they mush it together. And then they wait about a week for the white mold to kind of grow over the sides again, or they just cut it straight away, serve it up, and then it's like a layered brie or camembert, and you can put anything in the middle. So it's best to do that. Cut it in half, put stuff in the middle, and then smush it back together again. And yeah, you'll have some amazing things. There's no reason you can't process your matured cheese after the fact. So many commercial companies do it. And I will be doing a video soon on processing cheese after it's matured. Like you can add additives to it and then repress it into, a shape or form. And yeah, get some good results that way. But yeah, great question, Watchy Bun. Let's have a look. Question from Danielle says, please describe the Lipiusto Solo without the cloudberry jam or coffee. Very curious your impressions. Well, it was squeaky. It had just the right amount of salt. Kim loved it, even without the cloudberry jam. I loved it too. It was just, it was a little bit caramelized from where it had been, grilled under the griller or broiler. But yeah, it definitely, it lives up to its name, finished squeaky cheese. I think it was delightful little cheese that you can eat the same day. So I had no issues with it whatsoever. But I think that the cloudberry jam just added to it. It was just amazing. So yeah, cool. What's Titus says that I use a nylon bag used for paint filtering. Yeah, you can do that for your cheesecloth if you want to. Nylon works. I've got lots of great feedback for people who have just watched the gallery, so that's cool. Says Jackie says, lovely cheese, Donna. How much liquid smoke did you use for the Colby, please? At what stage did you put the liquid smoke? Now I don't know if Donna's on the stream at the moment, but because she says I don't think she watches the stream live. But to answer your question, Jackie, I have done that before. I just rubbed it on the outside before I vacuum packed it, and it kind of infused a little bit. I made a smoked chowder, and just rubbed it on the outside just after it was out of the press. So when it was air dry, does that make sense? So when it was touch dry, then I just rubbed liquid smoke all over. And what she did, she mentioned as well that she then oiled it after the liquid smoke had soaked in, so maybe you need to dry it a little bit. Thank you, Ruth. You didn't have to give me a present. But yeah, she rubbed it with oil and then rubbed it with smoky paprika. So, Jackie. Ruth, she wanted to see the curd nerd light flash. Well done. Thank you, Ruth. I could have done it manually, Ruth. But thank you so much for the $20. Very kind of you. On your birthday, nonetheless. So Ruth says, just wanted to see the curd light flash for all the Leos who are having birthdays this month. And I love jokes. Yes. Yes, I know you do. Thank you so much. All right. It's joke time. Yep. Let's. All right. So here we go. There's no intro or anything. There's nothing flash about this. I got the deck of 100 jokes. And I'll read 4. How's that sound? 4 jokes? That'll do. That'll be good. Yes. For those who are late, yeah, it is Ruth's birthday today. One of the longest serving members of the cheese-making community. And you can tell that by her little icon on the in the chat on YouTube. Right. So first question. Right, I don't know if this is silly. All right, what do you call a grilled cheese that's all up in your face? We're an American term, but anyway. It says, too close for comfort food. And I don't have a little thing that makes noises. Anyway, what did the cheese get on the handkerchief? Oh, no, sorry. If I read the jokes properly, it'd be a better segment, wouldn't it? Anyway, how did the cheese get on the handkerchief? I blew my nose. Right, there we go. Is that going to work? Are we going to be able to see the joke? Come on, computer. There we go. There we go. I blew my nose. Hilarious. All right. Here's a good one. What is Mozart's favourite cheese? Mozzarella. Oh, goodness me. 2 more. What's this one? All righty, here we go. Why can't you make clothes out of cheese? Because fromage phrase. I haven't heard that one before. Come on, focus. Focus. Oh, if I put it over my head, there we go. It focuses. I was looking for my head. Righto, one more, last one. Oh, there we go. Here we go. How do you approach an angry Welsh cheese? Carefully. Or kafili. Kafili. Right, over the head. There we go. Oh, now, there we go. I don't know if that was any good. You let me know. Joke. I'm going to shuffle a pack every week, read out 4 jokes, and we'll go from there. There's hundreds of them, so we'll go. Oh, goodness me. Paul just sent me a super chat. I had a joke for Ruth. Let's have a look. What's it say? Because Ruth loves jokes. Paul sent a $20 super chat. Thank you. It says, thanks, Ruth. Here's another joke for your birthday. Where did you... Oh, hang on. Did you hear what happened at the all-night cheese party? Nobody could go. Oh, because cheese bungs you up, apparently. Not in... Anyway, keep it clean. All right. Thank you very much, Paul. That's amazing. Yes, that's a groan from me too. All right. And Katarina says, here's another, well, it's not a joke, it's just a cute saying. It says, I saw this earlier this week and thought it was cute. Sweet dreams are made of cheese. Who am I to disagree? I cheddar the world and the Feta cheese. Everybody's looking for Stilton. That's a play on words for the Eurythmics song. Sweet dreams are made of these. Or Sweet Dreams, I think the name is. But yeah, I've seen that written on boards outside cheese shops and all that sort of stuff. Annette has a joke. Let's throw that in there. What does a cheeseaholic ask for? More beer. More beer. More beer. Yeah, more beer. Okay. All right, I do have a cheesy jokes video, 21 cheese jokes. If anybody wants to go and check that out, that'd be funny. All right, so we've just got time for me to create the thumbnail for next week's show. Now, this is something new. I don't know if it's okay. You let me know. Let me just bring it up. Where is the thumbnail making machine? Here we go. So let me just share this so everybody can see. I'm using the software called, what is it? Adobe Express. And it's if you have an Adobe membership. So here's last week's thumbnail. Let's just change that out a bit. We're going to replace the background. We're going to upload a new photo. And we want the photos from this week. All right, let's have a look. You probably can't see these because, all right, so I think the interesting cheddar from Donna is going to be the one today. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? What's going on, Mr. Magoo? Let's replace the background. Come on, guys. What's going on? Hey, there we go. All righty, so let's just center that a little bit. Let's just change the episode number to 222. And this is cheddar. Cheddar with black, pepper. Alrighty, and that is by Donna. There we go. Lovely. Let's just make that a bit bigger. This is how we do this. Oh, behind the scenes. You don't get to see this normally, do you? Alrighty, so there we go. So we've got a lovely cheese. Picture of me, Ask the Cheeseman. Let's just download that. Start the download. And let's just put it. You don't see this bit because that's what I do. Rightio. So that is saved, and that will be available soon. So is that saved? Yep, all saved. Let's just kill that screen. Thank you very much. So that'll be on the thumbnail for next week. Absolutely fantastic. Sorry, we have a question from Jackie who I missed. Sorry, Jackie. There we go. Just to clarify, Gavin, do you reuse your brine solutions? The answer is yes, until it really starts to smell. Once it starts to smell, you will find that you may have brined a Bradley-bacteria linens cheese, and that tends to make it smell a bit. What I do in between each use, though, is I pasteurize the brine. So I will boil it. So I'll boil the brine before I put the cheese in. I let it cool down back to room temperature again. Don't put your cheese in when it's hot. The cheese will tend to melt, and it's not very good. So I boil my brine in between uses, then I'll filter it. If there's any cheesy bits in there, I'll filter them out just with a tea strainer and just pour the brine through that. When it's warm, back into the brining container that I've cleaned out, put the brine back in, and then let it come to room temperature, and then put your cheese back in, put it back into the cheese cave. So that's all good. Alrighty, so time to go, and we will be redirected once this stream is finished over to the Oostkaker. If you want to hang around and watch for that, if you're on YouTube, it's going to redirect you. If you're on Facebook, Twitch, or LinkedIn, then pop over to the YouTube channel. Go and check out the premiere for Oostkaker. I'll be there in the chat and answering anybody's questions about that cheese specifically, or whatever else you come up with. It's not an extension of this show. It's a separate cheese. But yeah, pop over and we'll see that in a second. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I'll get rid of that question. Thank you, everybody. Just a few closing remarks. Don't forget, if you want to learn how to make cheese, you obviously can watch all the videos for free. But if you want to learn a more, detailed learning experience, then pop over to the Curd Nerd Academy at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and that's where you can find the beginner's cheese making course and learn how to make 9 cheeses. And lots of people in the chat today have done that course and have thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot from the feedback that I have received. And don't forget, you can get your cheese making supplies, of course, at littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and we ship to a lot of countries throughout the world now. If you want to get any cool merch, there we go, big reveal like Superman. Blessed Cheesemakers t-shirt is available over at the merch store. If you go to youtube.com/GavinWeber/store, and you will find all the merches. If you want to, and like the coffee cup. Well, there we go. Is that going to focus? There we go. Certified Curd Nerd. My favorite cup, which is empty, by the way. I drank it too quick. Anyway, very cool. Thank you, Curd Nerds. Same channel, same place next week. Yeah, all good. All right. Yeah, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week. What am I doing? Where's the outro? See you, Curd Nerds.